Welcome back to How's That Work in Science with Mrs. Foster. So I have been doing lots of physics videos just explaining things like friction, contact forces, forces in general, Newton's laws. And I saw this toy, that's my son's, and I said, this would be a perfect example of real world example of how to show the different types of friction. So the first friction we're going to talk about is static friction. So static friction is when we have things that aren't moving. There's no movement. I can push it and then it stops, and the static friction and the gravitational forces around it are all balanced. There's no movement. So this is static friction. Now to overcome static friction, you need another force to work on it. So I'm going to take my finger, and as I start to push against the toy, you'll notice that the toy starts to slide across the surface of the counter. So we have two surfaces sliding against each other. This is sliding friction. So I can go the opposite way and cause the toy to slide against the counter. And so two surfaces are sliding past each other, thus sliding friction. So the forces are now unbalanced and the object is moving or sliding. Okay. After sliding friction, we're going to talk about rolling friction. So I'm going to take this toy, I'm going to put it on the side, okay? And what happens with rolling friction is you give it a push and the ball, the sphere, the tire, whatever's round starts to roll. And so we can see rolling friction right here. So you give it a push, it begins to roll, and there's friction where the bottom of the circle or sphere touches the other surface and they rub against each other, causing friction. So you'll notice this with tires. If you push down, you can see there's a little bit of it deformation at the bottom, or after a long period of time, you'll see wear, and that's because of rolling friction. So we have static friction where it's not moving. We have sliding friction. We have rolling friction. And then the final one is fluid friction. So fluid friction is kind of loud, so I'm going to stop for a minute. Fluid friction is where it involves a liquid, not a liquid, but a fluid, which can either be a liquid or a gas. Usually we're talking about air or water when we're talking about fluid friction. So I'm going to turn this on, and this fan is going to basically create a layer of air that it's going to stand on or be propelled up on, and it's going to move through the air. And that's fluid friction because of the resistance of air. So we're going to turn this on again and make some fun lights. But as I put it down, it's basically on a layer of air. And that air, even though it's less friction than other things, there's still fluid friction because this is now moving through air, causing fluid friction. There's air resistance going on and all of that. So this is fluid friction. So to recap one more time, we have static, we have sliding, we have rolling, and we have fluid friction. I hope that makes better sense now that you can see some real world examples of all four of them. And I would love to know if you have any ideas or good examples that you can think of to help show all four of the frictions. Put them in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe to my channel and check out some of my other videos.